Hi, Harsha Booty Day 7. I have 2 new exercises for you. We're going to stick to the 2 exercises from now on because that will give you less to retain. It will give us a chance to be a little bit more thorough and not be rushed through the demo. And by this time, you have now a roster of exercises from the prior post to choose from as your 3rd or 4th exercise for the work session. And then today, as I will throughout the month, throw in either a warm-up drill or a static cool down stretch that you could also start building into a roster. Everything here is for you to take on forever into your fitness journey. So one of the things that I want to give you a tip on or talk about today is that don't get put off or stressed about the fact that you have to have some setup. Even if you don't have the exact same equipment that I do, or even if you're at the gym and there is an equipment specific for an exercise, you're always going to have to do some setup, right? Whether it's for the weight that you need, or to adjust the height or the length or your body position against that equipment. Either which way, you have to learn how to do the setup. How do you do this? Well, it's by learning what you're supposed to be feeling, what exercise you're doing in terms of what is supposed to be engaging and how it feels to engage. Whole point, right, of our glute mind-body connection, our glute activation, the neuromuscular training that needs to take place, whether it was post-injury or for our everyday or to prevent injuries, or to get the maximum benefits out of an exercise. So all this is why that's the whole point. You need to know what exercise or what muscles are supposed to be firing for that exercise and how it feels when it fires, so that you could either adjust the rest of your body for the equipment that you have or adjust the equipment for the body that you have, either or combination, okay? This is how we, we are able to make sure that we're doing things correctly for the right benefits, for all the benefits, without injury and all of that, and not get put off, especially with something like the hip thrust, or if you're working out at home. Some of these setup is just a one and done thing, right? Because you'll have played around with it to figure out what's comfortable for you, what works for you, and now you know that's your go-to, okay? So don't be put off by having to set it up. You're going to be ninja at this. Now, the first drill is the end range glute bridge on the bench, okay? So you are going to need some sort of an elevation. So, of course, I have my workout bench. I could use either my box or my chest of my treasure chest thing that I have. All will work the same. So for you, it could be a coffee table. So if you don't have any of these, then go back to doing it on the floor. Of course, I have padding on there because I'm a sissy like that. Here's what we're going to do with the end range. End range means that we're basically at the end of the range of the motion that we would be normally doing for that exercise. Now we're going to pretty much start at that exercise, and there's going to be very, very little movement. Now, this is true for a lot of things, right? Because even if it was a bigger movement where we're doing like a lunge, okay, you see someone do that and looks fine overall, but you know, it really depends, right? Because it's hard to tell whether they've shifted the weight the 1 inch or degree when it, you know, it's like a couple degrees makes all the difference in the world. And what is their level of effort? These are things that we can't easily see, which is why when I'm working with a person, I'm nose to ground on the floor looking at someone's heel shifting when they're doing a lunge or squat, something like that, right? But I'm trusting you to give yourself that kind of attention and focus on that. So we're going to sit on the edge of this bench. Leg placement here is for your comfort. So I'll talk you through the most important things. So let's sit on the edge of the bench. You should have enough space so that you can lay your head fully down comfortably, okay? So scoot yourself down to where you're comfortable. We're going to engage the pelvic floor. Remember, that is squeezing your PP muscles. And we're going to attempt or act as if we're going to press our lower back flat. Instead of having this gap, I have a very pronounced gap here because I have an anterior pelvic tilt, but also it's normal for people to have this curve in the lumbar spine. So on the floor, we're able to press it all the way to the floor. On the bench, we may not. That's okay. Just act as if, so that you're still engaging through PP muscles, engaged through the glutes. So you're starting out engaged, remember, and your abs are contracted as well. From here, drive the weight through the heel and bring those glutes up with an even harder contraction. So now you're at peak contraction. You should be able to have your hands slip under your glutes now, okay? Hold it for a few seconds, bring it down. That is the whole move. So if you're not feeling your glute contraction and you're feeling it more on your thighs or your hamstrings, then that's your cue that your glutes are weaker, and go back to the floor. Or keep working at this. With another cue that I will give you is that instead of just coming up and focusing on the glutes, focus a little bit on the heels of the floor, pressing down, but also as if you're trying to spread the floor apart. Okay, so really dig down, and that will help actually track your knees out a little bit, and that should help. Okay, so squeeze at the top, exhale up here. Okay, so that's basically the move. Another great way to use this is if you have a weaker side already, you could just slightly focus your attention and just the slightest weight shift. Okay, you don't need much in order to focus the weight and the contraction on that weaker side. You'll still feel it on the other side as well, okay? So this is really intense. To get out of it, be careful when you get out of it because you have this lower arch. So press down again and either roll it up, or if you're down here and you're low, you can put your hand on the floor, elbow down, roll it around. Graceful or not. Just remember, getting out of a pose is as important as getting in. All right, so that was a long time spent on the drill, but that was really important. The next one, the actual first exercise for today, is a foundational exercise. It's the clam shell. And this is just as foundational as your glute bridge, your hip thrust, and the lunge. So let's take the time to learn it right. We're gonna get down on our side like we did with the Jane Fonda, and we'll be, comfortable being laying down here on the side. You could prop your head on your elbow like this. I'm going to be up like this so I could talk a little bit better. Your body is in line from head to your pelvis, to your hips. Knees are stacked in front, about a 45-degree angle. The whole leg is stacked, including your feet, okay? Tactile cue, you're going to find that boniness on your pelvis. Hook your thumb on it. Take the rest of your forefingers, wrap it around your glute med. This area is what we want to feel working. Engage your abs, okay, in order to keep your upper body stable. We're not moving through the upper body at all. And just open up that top knee so that it's facing towards or going up towards the ceiling, however far you could go, okay? I actually can't go very far. I'm still feeling it right here. You can feel that contraction, okay? So take a few seconds to pause at the top, or at least give it a second hold before you control it down. So don't just flop this around. Just like the Jane Fonda, first 5, 7, 10 reps, you'll be like, this is nothing, and then you'll really, really start to feel it. If you feel that you're rocking backwards, you could give yourself an additional tactile cue by bringing your upper body right up against the wall, okay? So get right up against the wall and then do the same thing. And this will prevent you from rolling back, okay? Level 2 would be where you have an exercise band, okay? Right across or right above your knees. Excuse me. And you can tell I'm prepared, okay? So right here. And do the same thing. Now, as I'm just gonna grab any weight that I have here. As a level 3, you could do the exercise band along with the weight, okay? So just pick your level, stick with your level. All right, now, exercise number 2. These are also really great, and we're going to use this. You could use the same bench, okay, that you had, but I'm going to tell you this could work anywhere, including a much higher countertop, okay? So this one you could do on your kitchen counter if nothing else. Again, nice padding, have it over the edge. Again, find your bony part of your pelvis, and we're going to put the bony part on, not on the edge, but above it, okay? So you're not hurting your bones at all. If you do this right, you should not feel any pain on your lower back at all. It should be only glute contraction, okay? So have your head looking, your eyes looking a little down and ahead, not up. Your arms will be whatever position is comfortable, depending on your height of your bench, okay? Your knees will either be bent like this, or your legs will be hanging straight down. Doesn't matter, because to start, we're just going to extend the legs. Extend the legs, squeeze to the glutes, so you're active already. Now we're going to squeeze to the glutes even more to bring those legs up, and you can open it out at the top, okay? And then relax it down. So before you start bringing the knees up, do the same thing. Squeeze your PP muscles and engage your abs. Extend those legs, raise it up, adjust your glute muscles, okay? So you're not arching up like this, okay? And you're not bringing it so far up that you feel the weight shifting onto your upper body, okay? You shouldn't feel any weight shifting at all, all right? Now, to make it harder, again, you could put the band across your, around your knees, and to make it even harder, you could have, in this case, you would have to do like ankle weights, okay? Or you would have, you know, in the gym, there's ways to weigh yourself down, all right? So those are the progressions. Always work on the foundation part though, and work at your level. All right, that's it, give it a go. See you next post.